Hey guys, and welcome to Wellness Wednesday. I'm Robin, and I'm literally nobody important. I'm not a medical doctor, I'm not a nurse practitioner, and I don't even have a certification in nutrition. I'm just a mom, a wife, and really a woman looking to do better in her health and wellness. Since this is the beginning of a new year, I thought it would be the perfect time to talk about the starting point of function, and that is toxins. Let's get to it. Our journey started about 6 years ago when my now 6-year-old was an infant, and he had a vaccine-related injury, and because of that, we were not able to give him a lot. He wasn't able to tolerate a lot of the over-the-counter medications that you give infants and toddlers for things like fevers and just all the infant and toddler-related things. And so we had to start pursuing more natural remedies and routes for him specifically. And in the process of doing that, I started learning about some of the ingredients that were in those over-the-counter medications and even the products in our home. And then I even started learning about a lot of the ingredients that are in our food. And I started learning how to label read. Now that's not a new thing for our food. We're all starting to hear about some of the toxins and chemicals that are in our processed foods and why we should avoid those. But a lot of us have not heard about the toxins that are in our everyday products that we use in our home. Since it's the start of a new year, like I said, and our immune systems are probably on the recovery from the last season, and really we're still kind of in that season, right, where our immune systems need a little boost. But it's the start of a new year, so that means most of us are probably recommitting to those fitness routines, our diet, lifestyle choices, and just all the things that come with the New Year's resolution. I thought this would be the perfect time to talk about the most important thing. And the starting point for function is removing the toxins from our environment. It doesn't matter what kind of fitness routine I commit to. It doesn't even matter what kind of food I eat or what kind of supplements I add in, and I love essential oils. So if you love essential oils, it doesn't even matter what kind of essential oils I decide to start using on the regular if I am not removing the toxins from my environment. Because if my body and my children's body and my husband are constantly fighting these toxins that are in our environment, we are not able to utilize those fitness routines, even the food we eat, as much as we should be able to, because our bodies are constantly on the fight to remove these toxins out of our system. Now, I cannot control all the toxins in my world, right? I live in an imperfect world, and I cannot make perfect what is imperfect, but I can control what's on the inside of my home. You know, we're going to go outside, we're going to go to the park, and we're going to be exposed to things just from car emissions and the guy smoking next to the tree. So I can't constantly protect my kids from all toxins. We are just in a society where we're going to be exposed to those things. But did you know that the air quality in our homes now is 5 to 7 times more toxic than the outdoor air quality? And we all know how bad the outdoor air quality can be, right? So that was alarming to me when I found that out. So I started doing some research, and I found out why. It's because of the dryer sheets that we put in our laundry, and as it's heating up, it's outgassing these chemicals and toxins that are in it. And then it gets on our clothes, and then our clothes sit, whether it's from that or from the laundry detergent that has these optical brighteners, that great, it keeps our clothes nice and bright, but those cannot be washed out of our clothes. So they sit in our closets, and they outgas all these chemicals that we breathe in as we're sleeping at night, and then we put them on our bodies. And if you sweat, I mean, are you human? We all sweat. If you sweat, it heats up, and then it outgasses that way, and we're just constantly breathing in these toxins and chemicals. And so I realized that I might not be able to control what's outside of my house, but I need to start controlling what's on the inside of my house. And I don't know about you, but I'm an all or nothing personality. And if I can't do it all perfectly right, I kind of don't want anything to do with it. And so I had to get over that. And I realized that dumping little bits of toxins at a time is what's going to make my family healthier over time. Now, I'm sure this is not surprising to any of you, but the second cause of death in the United States is cancer. 1,630 people die every day from cancer. And 1 in 3 cases are linked directly to poor diet, physical inactivity, weight gain, or chemical exposure. 5 to 10% of all cases are gene related, but that means that 90 to 95% are in our control. Did you catch that? 90 to 95% of all cancer cases are in our control. Now I'm going to read this little part to you just because I'm not a numbers person and I will mess this whole thing up. But I found this very fascinating and I think you will too. But the National Institute of Occupational Safety and Health studied 2,983 ingredients in the products in our homes and found 284 of them were toxic ingredients. 314 caused biological mutations. 218 caused reproductive problems. 778 are known to be toxic. And 146 they knew caused cancerous tumors, but they are still allowed in the United States, even though they're banned in other countries across the world. And that was like super scary to me. Did you know that the average woman puts on over 300 chemicals a day, 80 of which before breakfast? And 26 seconds after our skin has been exposed to a chemical, it can be found in measurable amounts within our bloodstream. We'll talk a little bit more next week about some of those specific ingredients that we can find in those products in our home. But one more thing I wanted to say is that our bodies are responsive to repetition. So just like we teach our kids when we're teaching them to read, repetition is the key to learning, our bodies are the same way. And just like having a good workout routine, you can't work out once a year and expect to be fine for the rest of your life, right? So you have to have a good, consistent workout routine. And just like good repetition is beneficial for our body, bad repetition can have harmful effects on our bodies. Each of us has a toxic load that we can handle. And I know if you're like me, I used to say things like, well, it's just one dryer sheet, or it's just this toothpaste. But if I'm just using that one dryer sheet once my whole life, probably my body will get rid of the chemicals that it was exposed to. But how often do we use those dryer sheets? And so each time you're adding to that toxic load, and that toothpaste, and that laundry detergent, and that shampoo, and over the course of a day, you're exposed to so many chemicals. And over the course of a week, that just keeps adding up. And you can only handle so much in that toxic load before it breaks and gives way. And it does spill out, and you do start seeing all these crazy symptoms. And I know a lot of you are probably like me and say, well, I've used this since I was a kid, and it's never given me a headache, or it's never given me. But just because we don't see the symptoms, it does not mean it's not changing the way our body is functioning. You don't have to have an outward symptom to show an inner change. Now, I know that sounds all doom and gloom, but I promise you guys, next week we'll talk about some of those ingredients to look out for and what you can replace some of your most commonly used products with. So I got your back. I hope to see you next week.